can stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call to order the December meeting of the REMAC. Do I have anyone to approve the minutes of the November meeting?
I have one question.
Yeah.
What's with the pledge? Just curious.
Why don't we do it?
I do it as told.
Hey, I'm just saying, I'm 6 years in. It was a first for me, so I was just curious why the change in course. But all right.
Well, it's shorter than national anthem, but it's longer than Good Morning, guys. So it's go between.
Just who are the two guys that approved the minutes?
Do I have anyone to?
I'll make a motion.
For November?
Second.
All right. Our standard reports, program EDC director.
Just getting back into the office. Was gone for 2 weeks, so not a lot to report on. I did meet with the state data team in an effort to get specific reports generated so that we can follow the quality metrics as part of our quality committee. They have a number of metrics that they're currently looking at, and we're going to just kind of follow suit for now to get something in motion. They are EKGs within 10 minutes for cardiac patients, naloxone RNAs, cardiac patients with ROSC, trauma transport that meets the criteria. So any patients that meet the trauma triage criteria are going to be transported to the right locations. Pediatric patients with respiratory distress, stroke with an EG being tested, stroke patients transported to the appropriate stroke centers. And then finally, lights and sirens usage. So the state is actively working on creating reports or adapting reports for our usage. And then our goal is to create a dashboard of some sort so we can monitor this on a continual basis and then add to the standards as we identify areas that we want to look at.
So at this point, just kind of getting the dashboards put together, seeing where everything shakes out, initial data collection wise, and then further steps from there.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So my first reaction seeing that is, oh man, anytime we try actually tackling or actively intervening on more than a couple of things at once.
Nope. And these are areas that the state CMAC has identified, and they're looking at each agency specifically across the state for these criteria. So if we just take the picture, get the data, see how everybody looks, do we have any agencies that are kind of falling through that we need to try to bring up, or whatever the case is.
Well, it also seems like it takes a while for the state to actually answer, do the work to get the we're busy to get that report set up. So I was talking with John, and he was telling me, so any of us could log on to the website, and if you're really good with computers and data, and you're able to name each of the data points that extracts from MEMSIS, you can write a report. But it's really cumbersome, and really what happens is the agencies go to the state data and say, can you help write this report? Can you help us to get this report, get this going? So if we're gonna ask them to write the report, you might as well ask them for all those metrics, so that we don't have to go back later and say, well, now can we have another ticket? Can we look for this data and pull it out? So this will give us a good starting point, because I think at any point in time, it'd be nice to be able to look at any one of these, and even if it's not something we're tackling at that moment, at least we kind of know, we have our finger on the pulse of what's going on in the region.
So where is this data coming from? I mean, so objectively, EKG within 10 minutes, that's easy, right?
So the
Destination.
data is collected through the state data bridge, which is a repository of where all the charts that the agencies are completing, so all the patient care charts across the state, we can pull out specifically ones that involve our agencies or our region and collect that data from.
How would you, for instance, if one of the quality metrics is destination hospital for trauma, how would you find outliers, or how would you confirm that it was an appropriate destination?
That I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, similar for stroke. And they go to a primary stroke center because there's no.
Well, I mean,
There's no.
I guess what they're truly looking at is, are they going to a stroke center if they meet the symptoms? Not so much the type of stroke center.
I don't know how the data is coded, but if it's coded like, this all gets pulled, you have to use one of a few EHRs, and then they pull that data, it goes to, the state. I don't know if it pulls it by saying, like, was this a stroke chart? Was that, and then the destination hospital, every destination hospital has a hospital code, and it could just be, stroke chart, hospital number, do they match? Stroke.
Yeah, I mean, we should be able to tweak the data once we get it and see what it looks like. I mean, our agencies might already be doing what they're supposed to be doing, and there's no reason to intervene. So we got to start somewhere. So we might as well follow what the states, are putting them down as a roadmap.
Is there a particular plan in terms of once we have the data is it more going to be like a punitive approach in terms of if you're not doing this, or more of an incentive-based thing in terms of actual?
I envision it to be an educational component to help direct continuing education versus punitive.
Okay.
That's punitive is never the direction you get more buy-in with education.
Yeah.
FLCC Administrator, Program Director.
So Donna officially retired at the end of December. She's in and out, just helping get the new classes started. We have classes in Canandaigua, basic EMT original and refresher, and also here in Geneva at the Westlake Fire Department for EMT original, and one over in Wayne County at the Wayne Finger Lakes Overseas Complex there in Newark. And I think we're going to do a core in Phelps. So she's doing that, but the college is just beginning their searches for replacement. So God knows how long that'll take. It took them 2 years to replace our office managers. Fortunately, we now have one, so all the work doesn't fall on one person. Crystal is our office manager, and she's been doing a fantastic job. And then just to add, our regional conference is coming up in February. Registrations are starting to come in. All the speakers are set. You guys approved those at the last meeting, and things are playing along. I guess that's it.
Medical Director, New York State DOH investigations list.
So there
is being done currently?
Generally, right after this meeting, we'll get blasted with like 6 of them.
So, good with the naughty list. RSI, RSA committee.
Yeah, so I got a couple of things today. Dr. Surratt contacted me this morning, able to make the meeting today, sends his regards and his apologies. First thing, we're going to be reaching out to the RSI agencies, looking for the annual data with regards to responses, I believe, and requesting actual utilization of the skill. One of the things that we've been in kind of a roadblock with has been QA, specifically with the role of REMAC in RSI QA, as it has not been identified by the state what actually QA can be done by the REMAC. So we're going to get to that. I'll reach that out. The next thing that he wanted to bring up is that we, as a REMAC, need to look at the drugs that we carry for RSI. He says there's been some evidence that we should reconsider using etomidate, using ketamine instead of etomidate. I thought that we had a provision that agencies had to carry ketamine in order to be an RSI agency. I don't know if that's true or not. I thought we did, but I don't know if that's true. The only other reduction agents that we could carry is propofol and Versed, but I know some regions allow you to do Versed for induction. I don't know, that's something that we kind of need to talk about. I've received 2 applications for RSI, Penn Yan and Yates County. I'm waiting on a third. Part of the holdup was we have to clarify whether you do need ketamine to be an RSI agency, because this agency does not carry ketamine at the moment. I'm hoping to have that in the next couple of weeks. Other than that, I'll be reaching out to set up a date for a meeting, and also to meet with John and get the data that we need to send, and we'll get it all to everybody.
So if you carry ketamine, you have to do quarterly reports, right? If you do,
That's-
if you do
Any narcotic, you have to do
Yeah.
reports.
It's 6 months, every 6 months, I believe, so semi-annuals. I thought that, I know that we had a discussion about we need to have at least one backup agent, and I know back at the time, maybe we can reconsider this, that Versed was not considered the ideal for the backup, but maybe that's something we can reconsider.
I'm always a fan of having choices. Having utility. I actually wasn't even aware that I didn't even thought about that actually, about whether all the RSI agencies are carrying ketamine or not.
Yeah, I believe there was an incident where, I believe this all got brought up because there was possibly a national shortage of etomidate, and we tried to figure out what we could do in case we didn't have the ability to have the etomidate. That's what I thought the directive was for the ketamine. I know there's been some instances where people have induced with Versed. It has not been the best outcome. I know that at least Central New York, they allow you to do that. And I know that Dr. Surratt wasn't a big fan of it, and I'm not either. But again, 2024, we're very open to change and very open to finding new ways if we need to.
Jamie had indicated that he'll have more information on the meds by the
Next 2 months, yeah.
So perhaps just start considering your thoughts and directions that you think that are appropriate, and then we can take action at the March meeting and put out an advisory at that point.
So what are the requirements now for induction agents?
It's etomidate and ketamine, and or.
Okay, and
Or.
okay.
So
So you
don't
can
have-
you
you don't
just
have-
have time. It's
Yes,
like,
just
you still the
time.
RSI and all that, et cetera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Typically, most agencies started out with etomidate, succinylcholine, the standard.
Right.
And then many agencies have added either ROC or VAC as a.
That's just rock.
Yeah. So the protocols, it only uses that as an option for blood sources.
Yeah, it's just sucks a rock right now. Because I know we also had a conversation about using propofol. I know that kind of got pushed aside, but it's just size rock.
I think propofol, I don't know what else, I think propofol from a pre-hospital standpoint is a little more risky. Yeah, it's a tough drug. It has its definitely is a great drug, but I think there's too much. What's the term? Potential for too much.
Too many downsides.
Yeah, and I also believe the facilitated intubation we first said was also not the protocol. Back to that, we can talk about it. And I think that's why we kind of said that we have to use ketamine for the backup. I know there was an incident in York County where they had a facilitated that didn't go very well. So,
What is the downside for having ketamine for all crews?
I don't think there's any, but the problem about this, agencies that don't have it has to go. So the process is if you don't have it, you have to apply for it. You have to come to REMAC and get approval. Then you have to apply to the state and get approval to work. This just takes about 3 to 6 months.
Okay. But the people to spearhead that would be Jamie, is that correct?
Yes. Jamie and our second week.
Yeah, I happy to email him further. He might be talking about there was like systemic review about the etomidase leading to like worsening morbidity and mortality. I'm not sure if I think it was actually hospital-based intubation, so it's possible it depends. But I mean, based on that, personally, I've kind of switched to ketamine for an induction agent, and I don't see too much downside in typical patients.
Well, great. Speaking personally, ketamine is my go-to.
Right.
I have seen it in rock is also my go-to.
Right.
But I mean, that's something we'll hammer out. I know we have some official documents. We also kind of need to guide where we want this committee. Part of getting the data is do we feel the need we have enough, or do we need more RSI providers? I know that Yates County, for example, doesn't have any right now because of the switching of the agencies. So we're going to work on that. But I mean, are we super saturated? Do we have, is the number of providers we have go with the number of RSIs that we do? And that's what the data is going to show.
So for the QA, is that done at an agency level or is that done at a
It's done at the
Should be
agent.
both.
Yes, it should be the agency medical director. The agency and the agency medical director should be QAing. And how it was if there was an issue, it got brought to the RSI committee and REMAC the QA. Currently right now, because of the questions with the QA in REMAC, it's now just based solely agency medical director and agency ALS chief QA.
Okay.
And then if there's any issues, it gets brought up by the agency medical director. One of the goals of the committee was back in the old days. It was agency medical director specific. So if your agency X wanted the RSI, agency Y did it. Agency X medical director said yes. Then we went to a committee and had classes, but now we're starting to see the trend back to agency medical director specific. So that's all I have. Your EMS rep.
I don't really have anything.
Emergency flight center.
Nothing too crazy from us. We have a webcast coming up on the 25th. Registration link is out on social. It's going out in email today. After that, we have our in-person conference. It's going to be at Bristol Mountain on May 17th. That hasn't gone out yet, but when it does, you'll all see it. Beyond that, nothing crazy for me. I put a few calendars up front, but
Nothing really crazy. Still doing ground schools. If anybody needs anything for that or outreach and education, we're certainly willing to come and do some education for you guys at any point. Just reach out to any of our bases. And our Westfield location, the infrastructure is nearly complete. So our Mohawk Valley service should be moving into that permanently in March.
Ground-based EMS agencies. Should we go through the list, or does any agencies have anything that they'd like to discuss? Top to Health.
Just we were just talking about earlier, just really high inpatient census. If anything, it seems like our volume has softened a little bit in the last week or so. But 120% our staff beds is our census right now. 17 warders and ED. So anyone who's been depositing patients there can see us working patients, et cetera. So, other than that, Dr. Zlit is back. I'd like to point out and swearing in on Friday.
Thank you. Closing Springs, awesome.
We were very similarly exceptionally busy and boarding essentially all of our medical beds in the ED up through this past weekend. We, for some reason, had a couple of reasonable discharge days and don't have any boarders at either of our sites at the moment for the first time in weeks. So I'm not sure what changed for us that didn't help you, didn't hit you guys, but otherwise it's remained pretty steady through the new year. We're well above our averages for following so far for the month. We'll see if things continue, but we have had a number of transfers out, so appreciate the help. Finger Lakes has helped us both of those. We've had a couple Phelps helping hands, and not sure if we've had any others that I owe any thank yous to, but appreciate the help getting folks moving. And about the same for Newark.
Few general soldiers and sailors.
Yeah, same thing, about 10% above census over the last 6 weeks. And then, I don't know if anybody saw the state data, but Flu A looks like it's peaked. It's coming down, so I don't know if that's maybe some of the reason. Increased volumes.
I still see much RSV. I felt like I saw a bunch right before New Year's and Christmas time, but I didn't see much the past couple of weeks.
I felt like I had it a few times. Your Wayne, you said about the same thing. Whole business.
So, if anybody hasn't seen it yet, the Bureau of EMS has some new educational regulations out for public comment, and they're on the state site looking for comment on those. I think I distributed the link. If anybody still needs it, I can locate that for you and send it out. That's really it for the business.
Any further discussion at this stage, John, about in regard to the State of the State address from the governor making EMS an essential service?
So, not that I have heard yet. We have meetings in the beginning of February, so our next meeting I might have some sort of additional information for you.
And any new business?
One thing for the new year that I would like to solicit the physicians in the room and see if anybody's interested in putting up a CME class, a 2 to 3 hour lecture on whatever topic you desire, and then we can present that out to our community. So if you're interested, just let me know, and you can pick the date as far as I'm concerned. So we'll find the location for you.
As in snippets throughout the 2 to 3 hours, or one long 2 to 3 hour?
Yeah, I was going to ask for a little clarification too.
Well, I guess
I would recommend snippets. Multiple discussions.
Well, we can
45 minutes.
Yeah, if we can get multiple people to all come into the same day, then we can do that.
So to really use CME towards certain hours, right? You need a CIC to sign on, right? Even if the physician gives the knowledge, right?
Correct. And we have that.
So as long as we, if we said we had, hey, we want to do a chat on a topic, I want to, offer to everybody we'll meet at such and such, restaurant, bar, something like that, to have a casual, journal review or something, current topic, discussion. Would you guys just match a CIC to it, or should we find somebody and say, hey?
No, we can find something like that.
What is CIC? Sorry.
Certified Instructor Coordinator. So that's our instructors that are teaching our EMS classes.
John, we have like 18 AMP podcasts that are all CV accredited currently that should be available to anybody if they want them as well. I can forward those links to you and distribute if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested in doing the class, so if you want to just email me in terms of what
If you have a topic that
All right,
your-
so email you a topic is the next
Yeah,
step.
yeah, if you're passionate about that, and we can find a date that's, convenient for you, and, we can do that.
Cool.
I'd like to add to your business, just it's good to be back. So thank you guys for understanding while I was absent over the last 4 months. For those of you that are not aware, I completed the phase 1 of my police academy training, and next, actually this Friday, I'm going to be sworn in the sheriff's office, and then I'll do my phase 2, which is the field training time. So I'll be here, I'll be on the road, and feels good.
I gotta ask, other than being kind of cool and it's something you need to do, what benefit does this impart to you at the end of the day?
The why factor. Well, so it started. So I was always interested in law enforcement. When I was younger, I have family members that are in NYPD. I chose medicine because I just had to choose. And I'm happy with my career. But only a few years ago did I just chatting with the law enforcement officers, found out that there was such thing as a part-time deputy, part-time officer. So started working with Thompson to try and find the time that would be best to take a leave. And my goal in the end, really the biggest goal for me is to do it for me, because it's just something I always wanted to do. Obviously I do a lot of EMS, I'm a firefighter. It's always that part that you can't understand or do unless you're inside of it, unless you're actually in law enforcement. So it's something I've always itched at doing.
So you want to be able to have a sticker for every category of first responder on the back of your vehicle?
Yeah. I want my abbreviations on the Thompson website to have a full alphabet.
Perfect.
No, but also I'm the medical director for their tactical EMS team for the sheriff's department. I have on quite a few occasions consulted with police departments when they're doing investigations to see what seems from a medical standpoint likely, unlikely, or factually driven.
So like forensic consultant type of
Well,
material, or
for injuries and things that are consistent that are nothing official, but just kind of things I've always been involved with. My another part is for officer wellness, and crisis intervention. Ask me how it's going in a few months. Anyone else any other new business? All right. Time we got 9:33.
Next meeting is March 19th.
Need a motion.
Motion to.
What is the next QA meeting?
So, actually, good question. So we're gonna get those data reports, and then once we have those data reports, which you said it shouldn't be further along.
2025.
I inquired again last evening, so
We get this state.
As soon as, so a date will be coming out. Hopefully, we'll be meeting, I would say, probably within a month. I guess one more little new thing right before we hear is among the agency medical directors in the room. I personally, for my New Year's goal is to have my on-scene time for traumas to be very brief. As you know, I'm out there in the field a lot, and I see a lot of crews doing their full trauma ALS assessment back of the truck while parked, at the trauma scene. And that's really not the goal. So if we could add it to our metrics, it'd be great. If not,
just something that I personally am going to be watching my agencies. I think a lot of the stuff that we're doing in trauma should be well. That's it. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Yeah, so, it's,